Look at the New England Patriots and what they have in play. And you look at Josh Gordon and the way that he performed. And you look at Julian Edelman and the way he's still capable of performing. And you look at Tom Brady, the surgeon that he is. He's just phenomenal. Okay? And Bill Belichick coaching this team. We all know what time it is. All you need to know is that the only team that seems to have any hope in the AFC of knocking them off, you could say Baltimore if Lamar Jackson continues to look this way, but how many people think he's going to continue to look that way? The Miami Dolphins is no litmus test. Some would argue they're not even an NFL team right now. You know, Brian Flores is definitely partaking a reclamation project. Miami Dolphins stink. And what an embarrassment that they suffered at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. That was never a game. But Lamar Jackson to Hollywood Brown, this brother's something special. We get all of that. But outside of the Baltimore Ravens, who's the one team that you think could challenge New England? You know who that is? It's Kansas City. That's because Patrick Mahomes, who threw for 378 yards yesterday against Jacksonville, can put up points in bunches. Answers an MVP caliber season, or an MVP season, literally, without the services of Kareem Hunt, with Tyreek Hill going down with his own broken collarbone. He utilizes Kelsey. He utilizes Sammy Watkins, LaShawn McCoy, Damian Williams, the coaching of Andy Reid, the play calling of Andy Reid. They could have dropped 50 on Jacksonville if they really, really wanted to. And that's really the only team that you see giving New England a problem until you look at Kansas City on the defensive side of the ball and you remember how atrocious they are as a defensive team, and then you realize they got no shot against New England. They got no shot. And so to me, when you look at Antonio Brown ending up going to New England, one of the reasons it should disgust you is because it's grotesquely unfair. Granted, injuries happen every day. Granted, if you can find a fearsome foursome that can get to the quarterback that is Tom Brady, the way the Giants did, not just in 07, but in 11 as well, then that's a different ballgame. But the reality of the situation is nobody's expecting that to happen. The New England Patriots, assuming Josh Gordon can stay on the field and not check himself into a clinic or get himself suspended because of his repeated addiction or his drug use with alcohol and drugs, if he's able to stay on the field, what you going to do with New England? Tell me what you're going to do with New England. I challenge somebody to tell me, what can you do with New England? Because I don't see it. I really, really don't. You got Burkhead running the football. You got James White running the football. You got Sony Michel running the football. You got Tom Brady throwing the football. You got Edelman and White and Burkhead each catching passes out of the backfield, at least 5. You got Josh Gordon there. Dorsett scored, caught a 58-yard touchdown, and he had 2 touchdowns. And by the way, they ain't even had Antonio Brown yet. I mean, it's not fair. We've almost never said this about an NFL team, but it's actually unfair to see what New England has at their disposal. All of us are into our football. Football's religion in this nation. You got pastors scheduling their sermons around NFL Sunday. We all know what time it is, and I'm here to tell you something right now. As you look at it, there's no denying that when you really, really look at this for what it is, the New England Patriots appear to be so loaded, it's almost a waste of time to watch them. It's almost a waste of time. Who in God's name is possibly going to stop this crew? Who's going to do it? I don't know anybody that's going to do it. I can't see anybody that's going to do it. I really, really can't. I can't imagine that this is going to be the case. I really, really can't. I was hoping Pittsburgh would be somewhat competitive. I should have known better. I'm looking at the Baltimore Ravens, and John Harbaugh could coach his tail off, but am I really going to bet on Lamar Jackson against Bill Belichick? Lamar Jackson couldn't handle Anthony Lynn. Last time we saw him against a real NFL team, because I contend the Dolphins are not one yet, We saw Lamar Jackson go 3 full quarters and 2 minutes, completing just 3 passes for 25 yards in a playoff game against the Chargers. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get overly excited at what I saw from him yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. When I see how putrid and pathetic the Dolphins are, I'm not going to do it. So if I'm New England, I'm already in the AFC East. Buffalo struggled to beat the Jets. They shouldn't have, but the Jets didn't have a kicker, so they did. And then the other team in the division is Miami. You talk about the New England Patriots. I mean, damn, that's about 6 bye weeks. Who's going to beat them in the division? That's 6 wins right there. And then in the AFC, Baltimore, Kansas City. Kansas City don't have a defense. Baltimore's got a second-year quarterback. It's almost not fair. Come Super Bowl time, how you going to stop these brothers? I don't know how you're going to pull it off. I really, really don't. And so that's the kind of thing that sort of has you lost. That's the kind of thing that sort of has you a little bit depressed. You just look at it and you just say to yourself, my goodness, I don't even know what to do. So on one hand, it's the absence of competitiveness in a National Football League that's enough to grate one's nerves. But nothing should compare to the whole debacle and fiasco that has been Antonio Brown. You know, for those that haven't been paying attention, in the last week alone, Antonio Brown had lost a grievance to the National Football League over his helmet issue. Antonio Brown had skipped numerous practices. Antonio Brown ultimately was fined by the Oakland Raiders. Mike Mayock, the general manager, issued the letter. Antonio Brown saw it and then posted it on social media. Turned around, went to practice, and threatened to punch the man in the face. After doing that, he turned around and did some tearful mea culpa, apologizing to the Oakland Raiders. Was supposed to meet up with John Gruden, never showed. Stood him up. And then after that, he turns around because Drew Rosenhaus gets John Gruden on the phone on three-way with Antonio Brown. John Gruden talks to Antonio Brown. He asks him, do you want to be a Raider or not, man? Do you want to be here or not? I traded for you. We want you here. Do you want to be here or not? Antonio Brown says, yeah, I wanted to be a Raider from day one. He said, just play football. Well, I'm more than a football player. I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? I'm more than a football player. Said, look, play football, man. That's what you're getting paid to do. How do I know all of this? Because immediately following that conversation, Antonio Brown violated California state laws by taping the conversation without the consent of both parties. He taped the conversation and then posted it on YouTube. At which time John Gruden said, this brother's got to go. I've had enough. The Raiders give Antonio Brown what he wants because he had posted on Instagram, Raiders release me, because they took away the guarantees to insulate and secure themselves in the event that he was going to act up again. They weren't going to guarantee his money. Antonio Brown demanded his release. The Raiders obliged. And this dude runs around like a clown in his backyard. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. Right? Acting like it was a surprise. What's the camera doing there? It was clearly orchestrated. You knew exactly what to do. You trying to tell me that's how you found out on social media that your agent didn't tell you you were free? That your agent didn't tell you that the Raiders were releasing you from your contractual obligations? Are you trying to act like you didn't know that? That was the first time you knew it? And you got the person out there filming you right there. Why are they filming you for? You knew exactly what the hell you were doing, but trying to feign it like you're trying to act like this was really what happened. Okay? So you did all of that. And then you got traded. Not traded. You got released and picked up by the Oakland Raiders. I'm sorry, by the New England Patriots. New England Patriots guarantee you $10 million, pay you $9 million, and got $5 million in incentives that you could ultimately acquire. It's a 1-year deal. There's an option for a second year that they announced this morning at $20 million, but the option belongs to the team. Now, there are some of you out there that'll look at Antonio Brown and you'll be like, he won. He played the system. First of all, know what you're talking about. He wanted to get out of Pittsburgh. He wanted a long-term deal, long-term security. And according to him, how many times did you hear him say, I'm my own man, I don't need the money? Well, guess what? You Bill Belichick's man now. Because Bill Belichick and those boys essentially have him on a 1-year deal. And obviously they gave up the $9 million, but they didn't have to give up the first-round pick that they had offered to the Steelers last spring when Antonio Brown wanted to get traded and the Patriots were trying to acquire him. So they didn't have to give up that first-round pick. Not only that, they got him on a 1-year deal. Not only that, they can let go of Antonio Brown anytime they choose to. So this ain't Pittsburgh where you get to miss practices. This ain't Pittsburgh where you get to ignore the coach. This ain't Pittsburgh where you get to hold the team hostage. This ain't Pittsburgh where the team plane is waiting for you. And the team plane is being held up so you could get there on time. Or you could go to get to the respective city with the rest of the team, according to the reports. It's a new day. And you're a soldier for Bill Belichick. So you went from sticking out your chest, talking about how you wanted to be your own man, looking for long-term security, to being a puppet for Bill Belichick. Congratulations. Because you're on a 1-year-at-a-time deal. 1 year at a time. Completely at the disposal and at the behest of Bill Belichick. Yes, you are. Probably get a Super Bowl out of it, but you're going to be doing it Bill Belichick's way, not your own. That's how it rolls in New England. That's point number one. Point number two, the guaranteed dollars, you could end up getting $30 million, but it ain't guaranteed. It's 1 year at a time, and most people believe you ain't going to get to the second year because they don't believe that Antonio Brown can act right for a full year. It remains to be seen. They believe he's so selfish, so self-absorbed, such a narcissist that he won't be able to deal with the restrictive measures employed by Bill Belichick, who ain't going to tolerate that nonsense. That's point number two. Here's point number three.
This man has exhibited and displayed a level of selfishness, the likes of which most of us haven't seen. I don't ever want to hear T.O.'s name again mentioned in this breath, not compared to him. No. I don't ever want to hear Randy Moss's name mentioned, not compared to this. I've never seen anything like it. He should be ashamed of himself. And I'm going to say this last point, then I'm going to give it to you. I understand that as black men, we have experiences that other people don't have, and we express our points of view or whatever. But understand why. Because you got people on the come up that are going to be looking to emulate that. And they will never get away with what he got away with. And usually those of us that are in a privileged position understand it. And we're sensible enough and unselfish enough to make sure that we don't sully the pathway for others on the come up. We guard it with our very lives and our very careers so we can make sure that we don't do damage to those who will follow us. Antonio Brown didn't care. I don't give a damn about him being with the Patriots or whatever. What I give a damn about is the nonsense that he engaged in to get to this point. It's disgraceful. I'm ashamed of this brother. That's all I want to say.
That was me on First Take this morning. I meant every damn word of it. I am ashamed. Understand, I'm in the media business. I've been a reporter for 25 years. I was a columnist for several years. I've been a sports commentator and a pundit since pretty much 1999, but for ESPN since 2003. I'm in the business of communicating. I'm in the business of talking to people, not just talking about them. Matter of fact, I've made a career of it. I don't care if I ever speak to Antonio Brown again in life. This kind of behavior on the part of him was so disgraceful, so embarrassing, so irresponsible, so selfish. It's hard for me to put into words. And from the principled position of knowing how to conduct yourself, we all make mistakes. Nobody's flawless. Nobody's perfect. But it's rare in a day where you see somebody intentionally engage in this level of insubordination, of distrust, and beyond. He has taped phone calls secretly. He has revealed private messages of teammates. He has stood up bosses. He's threatened bosses. He's done so many things that are nothing short of reprehensible and egregious. I don't understand how anybody can defend this. And as a black man, let me be very, very clear. While nobody should get away with it and most wouldn't, when it comes to you being black and in America, it's not just about doing twice as much to get half. It's also about paying twice the price for half the egregious behaviors of others. We don't get chances like others do. And so I look at it and I'm sitting there because you're going to have some ignorant fools out there that use words like sellout. Y'all call up here today. Y'all thought I hung up on people in the past. Try me today. Come on with it. Watch what I do. Because let me tell you something. I'll be unapologetic. I love everybody. Meaning black, white, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, American, don't matter. But I ain't apologizing for having a special affection for my people. I'm a black man. And I love my people. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit idly by and let people on the come up think that you have a snowball's chance in hell of getting away with the kind of behavior this man exhibited. You don't. You do not. I'm not selling out. I'm looking out. I'm here. You trying to get here. And I'm telling you, it ain't going to work. Don't let Antonio Brown make you think for 1 second you can get away with this. It doesn't happen. This is an abnormal circumstance for a clearly abnormal individual. But he will pay because this nonsense he engaged in will stay with him for the rest of his life. The word clownish will be associated with his behavior. You mark my words. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Oh, I got a lot more to talk about. Make no mistake about it. That was Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart. But I'll get to your calls and more in just a minute. By the way, when it comes to hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to your short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why